Ruby, and we are now a couple months into the release of our version 3 lending pad integration. And I just want to walk you through the workflow, how the integration works, what it does, and then you guys from that can take whatever value you might experience. So let's just start at the very first stage in the process. Your clients have applied for a loan. Let's assume for a second you're a pre-approved me member. They will have applied using our Smart 1003. So that application has now been submitted. We will immediately drop the loan into lending pad. So you can see right here, it says link to LOS. This is our pre-approved me interface here. It's linked to the LOS, and you'll see a button show up that says linked. It says lending pad. There's also one here you can access as well. The next step traditionally is to go in and review the application. Okay, if you or if you want, you can go in and review what documentation your client submitted. Our system does ask for documentation based on the loan application, the way it was submitted. So oftentimes you'll get the application, an hour later you'll get to it, and you'll find out that your clients have actually started uploading loan documentation already. But in this case, we've asked for 9 docs, none have been returned. That's fine. I'm going to go directly into the application by clicking that button. And what you'll see is it launches the application quickly right from our system. So it goes right into that loan. You don't need to go to another browser. You don't have to wait for the sync to happen. Any changes now that you make inside a lending pad are going to get transmitted back to pre-approved me. And there's really 3 important reasons why we need that data. The first is we want to build an accurate loan officer approved scenario. Well, a loan officer approved scenario in our system is sort of the framework for giving your clients and your realtors the capacity to run numbers, see what their payment is, and issue pre-approval letters from the app in real time. So in order to do that, we need all of the data about your client's loan. So you typically go through and you would put your, just dial it in left to right, right? You go through, add your assets and liabilities, dial in your loan program details, get all this stuff completely dialed. And then once you're done and it's dialed in, what you're going to do is you're going to click close and sync data. Okay, so you've gotten your DU approval, close and sync data. That's going to push an update to pre-approve me to build what's called the loan officer approved scenario. That is this right here. Okay, that is this right here. Now, of course, I didn't have any data in there, so this is actually a good example. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to update the data for this loan so you can see how quickly that will update. So let's see, go loan app. Let's go to assets and liabilities. I'm just going to add some income, or I'm going to add some money in the bank. Let's just call it 30 grand. Okay, let's save that. Let's go to my borrower's information. Let's go to my employment here. Actually, just have my income. Okay. Here we go. My income is 5 grand. Loan details. Okay. So purchase, appraised value, let's call it 300K. Purchase price 300. Loan amount, let's call it 225. Okay, there we go. Hit save. Actually, I'm not going to have enough assets if that's the case. Let's call it 275. There we go. Save that. Okay, now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to push it. So the reason we did this is because LendingPad uses what's called a trigger. So if you're not using this integration, or let's say you're using a different point of sale and you make changes in LendingPad, the systems have to wait about 20 minutes for that update to get pushed over, and that really kills the flow from your business perspective. So what we wanted to do is build an experience where when you make changes, you've dialed in the loan, everything is set, and you just click one button right here, boom. That is going to push all of the updated data and create, see that? Immediately we've got an updated scenario, and you'll notice $5,000 in income, $30,000 in assets, and the terms that I outlined in the application are up to date. Now, what that means is now your clients can go out there and they can leverage the system to run those numbers, see what their payments are, and issue those pre-approval letters in real time. And they will be doing that through the mobile app. So for those of you who don't know, we are a mobile-first point-of-sale company. So your clients would be accessing a calculator, running those numbers and issuing those letters directly from our system. So that's number one. Okay, number two, we want to make sure the processing status is up to date. Why is that important? Well, the reason why is because processing status determines what your clients see in the loan application. I'm sorry, in the mobile app. So let me do this. You guys have probably been seeing these acquisitions that Rocket have been making, and they're not on accident, right? They're a very strategic company. They know what they're doing. They know how to market. They know how to gain consumer awareness and attention. They're building a super app, okay? And the super app's really designed to engage your clients forever. So what they do is, as soon as somebody's in their ecosystem, their goal is, and every dollar they spend is to keep that customer in their ecosystem for life. We help mortgage companies compete with the likes of Rocket by allowing you to build your own super app. So I've qualified the customer. Now what I need to do is actually I would mark the date inside of LendingPad. I would change the status here. So let me go into this. And let me go to my dates. Here we go. Dates, critical dates. I'm going to mark this as pre-approved. Today. Save. And then I'm going to sync the data. Okay, now what you see is up here, the processing status now reads pre-approved, which was before a lead. You see it was a lead prior to that. This is what a lead was seeing in the mobile app. Okay, somebody who's brand new to you, sort of just kicking tires, wanting to apply, maybe wanting some educational content, resources, information. This is also customizable, guys, so you can really customize this however you want. But in this case, I have updated to pre-approved using that critical date update. And you'll notice that the app has changed. The value has changed. And now your clients are empowered with more tools to help them move through the next phase in their journey. And very shortly, maybe by the time you're watching this video, we'll have home search embedded there too. So your clients will be not only in the app, running numbers, seeing what they're qualified for, and issuing letters, tracking loan progress, uploading loan documentation, but they'll also be searching for homes, which you then can track and monitor, keeping them, again, off of the Redfins and the Realtor.coms and the Zillows of the world. So this change in processing status is not just for pre-approved clients. If you can imagine any customer segment that you have, whether they're pre-approved or they're moving through credit repair or whether they're closed, you can build custom configurations for each of them, and you can embed your own tools to power that experience. This is truly the first system in the world that lets you tie customer status to the value that they see in your ecosystem, okay, in your point of sale. So that is going to allow you to compete directly against Rocket, okay? Now, you may have to get your marketing hats on to come up with resources and tools and information that's valuable, but that should be a very small price to pay compared to losing your clients to one of those super apps. Okay, so that's the first thing that happened when we updated this. The next thing that happened is we triggered a milestone update. So you can see right here, it says 2 out of 15 milestones have been triggered. And what that means is that your customer has now been sent an email. They got a push notification on their phone. They got a text message. The app updated in the web portal that they can access updated. So that milestone looks like this. So again, I toggled pre-approved. And you can see right here that this is now triggered. I'm going to show you what that email looks like. Here's what that email looked like. Now my logo is big, but yours probably be a little bit different than that. You've made progress in your loan. You're pre-approved. You're now 13% of the way to your new house. Okay. Now these emails can, of course, all be customized. So if you want different language, you want different emails, text message wording, and separate even between the realtors and the borrowers, you get a different messaging for each. But all you had to do in order for all of this to happen, guys, to build a loan officer approved scenario, to update the mobile app, to display the tools that are useful for your clients now, and for your milestone to get updated, to send out communication to your clients and realtors is just work the file in LendingPad through this interface really easily. Okay, save your progress and sync the data. Now everybody in the transaction is completely in the loop. So zero extra work with a massive uplift in efficiency and communication. Okay. Now the last thing here is conditions. So in this case, you can see this client was asked for these 9 documents. If they uploaded a document, it would show up in here in the file section. So I'm just going to do this manually. I'm just going to add a document from my list here. Here's my identification. Okay. Yep, I know that's not the identification that I was looking for, so I can reject this, give them a reason, and add the reason. That's going to go back to the client, tell them what's wrong. Or I can accept it. Okay. Now, if I accept this condition, it's going to get dropped directly into LendingPad. Okay, it gets dropped directly into LendingPad so that you can work the file in there. You have something that's auditable, or if you're uploading to a wholesaler, all that can happen very, very quickly. And as you can see, you can review documents, you can accept them, you can reject them, you can add new documents, you can make notes, edit the descriptions. There's all sorts of really great, powerful things you can do inside of this ecosystem to help streamline the process. And again, your clients are in here already. They applied, they got an invitation to download your mobile app, they got invited to the web portal. If you asked for a condition, so if I go to my communications log here, here's an email that originally asked for these docs. At the bottom of the email, there's a submit documents button. You can set automated reminders to go out to your client to collect those conditions on your behalf. So it's simply just turn these reminders on, update the cadence. Okay, now this can also be set by default. You don't have to do it on every loan. You can set a standard for your pipeline. If you want to add conditions, it's really easy. Click add. This will access your library of existing documents that you're managing. You can actually tag or pull in sets of tagged documents. Here's all my VA docs. Boom. It's that easy to add some conditions. And I can create one-off conditions in 5 categories. I can request a doc. I can send a doc. I can ask the client to sign a document. I can ask them to verify their assets through Form Free, which is a day one certainty vendor. And I can ask them a question. All of those will create a doc request on your client side, which they can now manage however they want. They can go to their email. They can check their text. They can log into the web portal. They can go to the mobile app. They get a push notification. We'll take them into the mobile app. We make it super easy for your clients to get to work. And again, by approving conditions in our system, we're going to take it and drop it into the document section of LendingPad. Okay, so that is version 3 of our integration with LendingPad. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out directly. Happy to connect and discuss with you. Take care.